Hello everyone. So you are watching Cybersec live and we are going to cover module 1 of ethical hacking, which is the introduction to ethical hacking, and this is the video number 6. So if you have didn't watch the last 5 video, then you can just click on that I button and you can watch that, because those are the basics, and we should clear the basics to be a good ethical hacker and a hacker. So let's start and check out that what are the contents we have in this module 1. First one is introduction to ethical hacking, terminologies, elements of information security, severity, attack vectors, types of hackers. This is one of the good things you will get to know that how many types of hackers are present. Hacking phases, defense in depth, information security policies, and the type of security policies. And the next one is why physical security. Everybody need a physical security in any organization, and we will talk about that why we need this security. Next one is risk management. So this is also one of the very important concept. Is incident management. SIEM, you already aware about it, that there is some tools which is maybe Splunk, QRadar, maybe you are aware about it, that right? So it's security, incident and event management. Data loss prevention, why we need DLP, penetration testing, blue teaming and red teaming, and at the last we will see information security laws and standards. Also at the last we will cover the whole summary of this chapter. So let's start it. First one is terminologies. In terminologies we have many more useful words, you can say, in the daily basis you are aware about that. Let's say adware, you are aware about that. Vulnerability, payload, bot, exploit, right? So let's start each things one by one. So the first one is adware. So what exactly the adware? It is a software designed to force pre-chosen ads to display on your system. So you have observed that whenever you open any website, then you can see that there is some advertisement which is already present there. So that is what adware. An attack is an action that is done on a system to get its access and extract sensitive data, right? So if any hackers attack on that on your system in order to get your access or extract any sensitive data or any important data, so that is what attack. Backdoor, a backdoor or trapdoor is a hidden entry to computing devices or software that bypass security measures such as logins, password protections, etc. Bot is very important. Actually, it is a program that is automatic, and see, uh, I made a program and I already have given a set of instruction to that thing. So that is what a bot. So bot is nothing but it is a program that automates an action so that it can be done repeatedly at much higher rate for more sustained period than a human operator could do it. Right? For example, sending HTTP, FTP, or telnet at higher rate, or calling a script to create objects at higher rate. So that is what bot. And botnet also known as zombie army, you can say, and it is a group of computers controlled without their owner's knowledge. Botnets are used to send spam or make denial of services attack, means DOS attacks. Exploit is a piece of software, a chunk of data, you can say, or a sequence of commands that takes advantage of a bug or vulnerability to compromise the security of a computer or network system. So let's say there is a vulnerability, right? And as a hacker you got to know that, yeah, in this website there is a vulnerability, and you will start exploiting by using different commands, using different things, right? So that is what exploit. Vulnerability is simple, but very simple. It's a weakness might be, let's say there is a system and port number 2522 is open. So port 22 is open, then I can take a SSH, I can take a remote logins, I can directly attack on that. So the weakness is the vulnerability. Weakness in any system or any network system, right? Trojan horse is a malicious program disguised to look like a valid program. Uh, it looks like a valid program, but making it difficult to distinguish from programs that are supposed to be there, designed with an intention to destroy files, alter informations, steal passwords, or other information. So it is very malicious. We can say one of the malicious files or one of the malicious programs, and many more. Okay, so now the next one is elements of information security. So what are the elements of information security? That is confidentiality, integrity, availability, authenticity, and non-repudiation. So we will discuss it about one by one. So the first one is confidentiality. What it assures? It assures that the information is accessible only to those authorized to have access. Let's say you have your system, right? And the why the confidentiality should be maintained. This is because I cannot access your computer without your authorization. Correct. So if I don't have that authorization, so here the rules of confidentiality comes. It assure that the information is only accessible by the authorized person. So integrity, the trustworthiness of a data or resources in terms of preventing improper and unauthorized changes. So let's say you have send one of the data to your employee through your Outlook, you can say, or any of the email, right? And if there is no modification, that it shows the integrity, right? It shows the trustworthiness. But if there is modification of data, means there is something altered. So that is what integrity ensure, that the modification is not happened. So availability assure that the systems responsible for delivering a strong and processes information are accessible when required by authorized users. So the data or information will be available only for the authorized users. Authenticity. Authenticity refers to the characteristics of a communication, document, or any data that ensures the quality of being genuine. Non-repudiation, guys, it's a very important concept, non-repudiation. So why there is non-repudiation in information security elements? This is because, let's say you are one of the employee, and you are sending a mail to one of the person, right? And you have sent. Now after sending, under the non-repudiation, you can't deny that you didn't send the mail, and the receiver can't deny that he didn't receive the mail. So that is what non-repudiation. Information severity attack vectors. The first one is cloud computing threats, and the second one we have advanced persistent threats, right? Third one we have viruses and worms, ransomware, mobile threats, botnet, insider attack, phishing. There is a lot of things, right? So there is a lot of attack vectors. So what exactly the cloud computing? So cloud computing is on a demand delivery of IT capabilities where sensitive data of organization and their client is stored, obviously, right? So flaw in one client's application cloud allow attackers to access other clients' data, right? I hope you are understanding that how, if suppose your data is on cloud, and I got a flow in your cloud computing data. So once I will get those flow in your data or in your system of cloud computing, then definitely I will get to the other as well. Next one is advanced persistent threats. So APT is an attack that is focused on stealing information from the victim machine without the user being aware of it. Correct. So you have already know there is lot of APT groups which is focused on particularly stealing the information, whether it's related to your systems, whether it's related to your gas pipelines, whether it's about the turbines. So APT groups works in a different cases. Virus and worms are the most prevalent networking threat that are capable of infecting a network within a second. So these are the two things very dangerous. Evenly a virus, what virus do, they will repeatedly make their copies, which is hilarious, right? Ransomware. So you know about that ransomware. Ransomware restricts access the computer system files, right? Once it will enter into your system, it will ask for the payments. So don't pay that ransomware, right? Because you don't know. I mean, whether you have paid, then it is not guaranteed that they will leave your system. It, correct. So it is one of the very dangerous attack, ransomware. Mobile threats. Now attackers are focusing on mobile threats because nowadays everybody have mobile. So that's why mobile threats is one of our information severity attack vectors. Now here it is. This is for you especially. So you what you want to be in hackers. So black you want a black hacker, white hacker, gray hacker, suicidal, escape kiddies, cyber terrorist, state sponsored, or hacktivist. Okay, so let me explain one by one. So what is exactly the black hacker? So the black hacker is very offensive, right? So they never think about the legal activities. They always try to penetrate your system. Correct. So I can say individuals with extraordinary computing skills, they have very good skills, resorting malicious or destructive activities, and are also known as crackers. They also known as crackers. White hackers, white what is white hat? So this is mainly you, a SOC team. If you are in a SOC team, then you are a white hacker. You are an ethical hacker, right? So ethical hacker is also known as white hacker, and we use defensive approach. It doesn't mean that we don't know how to attack, but we know how to attack, but we are defending that because we are working for a legal activities. Gray hat, it depends on the situation of a particular person. Let's say you are a hacker, right? And I'm telling you that yeah, please attack on that company, but some company comes to you and telling you that yeah, please just secure my network, so you will secure that. So it depends on your situations. Suicidal, they are really a suicidal. They not worrying about going to jail even. So they use anything. They will not worry about that yeah, if they will do these things, then they can go to jail. Even they will never cover their paths. Because covering the paths is one of the very important concept, and we will cover it in the next phase in the next slide. Skip kiddies, these are literally a kiddies, so they have no skill, but they depend on the other software and script. Those the real hackers who invented that. Terrorist is motivated of mainly religious or politics of views. State sponsored hackers, so they are employed by government. You can say APT groups is one of them. You can say Hacktivates promotes political agenda. Let's say IT cells, right? IT cell of any party. So that is the hacktivist, those who promote the political agendas. Now here it is very important concept. You need to focus on that. Phases of ethical hacking. So the first one is planning and reconnaissance. Second is scanning, gaining access, maintaining access, and analysis and web configuration. That is covering your path. So the first plan as a hacker. Now suppose that you are a hacker and you need to attack on a website. What you will do, right? So the first thing is that you will try to get the information of, for that particular website or for that particular company, right? So let's say there is a lot of things in information gathering. We will learn it one by one. So the first thing is that information gathering, that is reconnaissance. Second one is that scanning. You will scan the whole network and we will uh, try to find out the vulnerability, whether there is any vulnerability or not. So once you will find the vulnerability, So you will try to execute and you will try to gain the access. So that is what the third one, gaining access through any of the targeted vulnerabilities. Maintaining access. So once you entered into the system or any environment, you will have to maintain your access, because once your access will finished, you can't do anything. So uh, you can keep any of the backdoor or any of the software which will in future will definitely give you the direct access. So that is what maintaining access. And the last one is covering the path, that is analysis and web configuration, right? So let's say if a thief is coming, has coming into some house and he already stolen all the things, right? But police will catch him only in the case if he will cover all the paths. So this is the same thing with the in a computer world. We need to also cover the paths, because every time whatever we will do, the logs will generate, the logs will be saved in the registry. So we need to cover all those things. So let's see, and we will check one by one. The first one is recurrence. The first in ethical hacking methodology steps is recurrence, as I said. So you need to do the footprintings and collect as much information as possible before launching an attack. You can't go directly and launch an attack. You can't do this because you need some information. You need some information, and you will have to collect all the necessary information about the target. Like passwords, essential details of employees. You can do it from anywhere. You can there is active and passive. You can say you can use Maltego, STT, track, right? So in these series we have 5 labs in the footprinting. In the next module, we will do all those 5 labs, and we'll tell you that how you can recon a website, how you sorry you can recon any job profile, and how you can recon any individual website. So recurrence is one of the first part and very important part, you can say. Scanning is the second part and the second step in hacking methodology, because once you have the all the information, you will need to find out the vulnerability. So how you will find these things? You can use network mappers and map, that is right, port scanners to in order to find out the vulnerabilities. After finding the vulnerabilities, okay, yeah, here it is. Okay, one of the slide I think I missed, not a problem. Gaining access is the third one. Okay, so let me so this is was the first one, introduction to ethical hacking, which having these things: website, web application hacking, system hacking, web server hacking, hacking wireless networks, and social engineering. This one over the first one, but I don't know why it is showing here. I will check it. So the third in the phases of hacking is gaining access, right? So gaining access, once you have find all the vulnerabilities, you need to gain the access. For that you will use the different methods. Maybe you will SSH, you will let's say you find out that yeah, port 22 is open, then you will try to find out the connection for SSH. So that is what gaining access. The second phase attempts to get into the system and exploit the system by downloading malicious software or application, stealing sensitive information, getting unauthorized access, and asking for ransom. Ransom means ransomware, something related to payment. So for that you can use Metasploit, which is one of the common tools. The next one is maintaining access. It is the once the attacker manages to access the target system, that they tried their best to maintain that access. In this stage, what the attacker will do, the hacker continuously exploit the system, launching a DDoS attack, uses the hijack system as a launching pad, or steals the entire database, you can say. And also you can keep the one of the backdoor in that system or any Trojan, so that nobody can detect, and the next time you will come, you will directly get a access. So that is what maintaining access. Clearing the track, which is covering the path. So the last phase of ethical hacking requires hackers to clear their track. This step ensures that the attackers leave no clues or evidence behind that could be traced. This is very important one, guys, right? Because your logs, as I said, it includes editing, corrupting, or deleting logs or registry values. So these are the things you will also have to cover all the track. Now the next part we have defense in depth. So you have heard about it many times, but what exactly the defense in depth? So defense in depth is a security strategy, you can say, which is several protection layers are placed throughout an information system, right? So there is some several protection layers, and it helps to prevent direct attacks against an information system and data, because a break in one layer only leads the attacker to the next level. So let's say if there is a 7 layers in defense in depth, as an attacker you will need to break all those 7 layers to find out the data. So defense in depth is very important concept, and every organization uses this. Information security policy defines the basic security requirement and rules to be implemented in order to protect and secure organization information systems. Okay, so what are the goals? What are the goals of security policies? Let's say maintain an outline for the management and administrator of the network security. Second one, we can say protect an organization computing resources, prevent waste of companies computing resources, protect confidentiality, proprietary information from theft, misuse, unauthorized disclosure. So these are the information security policies and goals of security policies, right? Now the next one we have types of security policies. So the first one is promiscuous policy. In this, there is no restriction on uses of system resource. So if anybody is using the system resource, there is no restriction. The second one we have permissive. Policy begins wide open and only known dangerous services, attacks, or behaviors are blocked. So the known things, known dangerous services only will be blocked in this one. The next one we have prudent policy. In this, only the legitimate service will be allowed. And the last one is paranoid restriction, which is uh, having many limited. You can say there is very limited internet usage, or you can say no internet connection as well. And the examples of security policies, let's say access control policy, remote access policy, right? There are many policies. You will need to understand why we have security policies. There is some email security policies, password policy. If you will, you are in, if you are in any organization, then there is some password policy as well, firewall policy, user account policy, vulnerability management policy, media disposal policy, encryption policy. There are a lot of policies which should be in any organization. So next one is why physical security. Everything is there, but why we need physical security? It is very important, guys. You will need to understand these things. Physical security, it is the first layer of protection in any organization, because you are a human being and you are going physically somewhere, right? So it involves protection of organization assets from environmental and man-made threats. So why we need a physical security? To prevent any unauthorized access to the system, correct? To prevent tampering, stealing of data, to protect personal and prevent social engineering attacks. For that, we need physical security. And there are many types of physical security, but we are not covering that. Next one is risk management. So what is risk actually, ma'am? So risk refers to a degree of uncertainty or expectation that an adverse event may cause damage to the system. What is the meaning of risk management? So risk management is the process of reducing and maintaining risk at an acceptable level by means of a well-defined and actively employed security program. So here risk management reduce the uh, risk, right? So risk, this is the main focus of risk management. And what are the phases of risk? So we have risk identification, risk assessment, risk treatment, risk tracking, risk review. So, say, yeah, here it is. There are many reasons to manage risk. One is saving resources, let's say people income, property, assets, time, protecting public image, protecting people from harm. That's why we need risk management, and this is the process I was talking about: risk identification, risk assessment. So what is risk identification? So identifies the source, cause, consequences, etc. of the internal and external risk affecting the security of the organization. And what is the risk assessment? It assesses the organization risk and provide an estimate on the likelihood and impact of the risk. Next one, we have risk treatment. It selects the implements appropriate controls on the identified risk. Risk tracking, what is the role of risk tracking? It ensures appropriate control are implemented to handle risk and identifies the chance of a new risk occurring. And the last one in this is risk review. We need to also review the risk. So it's evaluate the performance, you can say, of the implemented risk management strategies. So that's what in the risk management. And the next one, let's talk about the incident management. So incident management is a set of defined processes to identify, analyze priorities, and resolve security incidents to restore normal service operation as quickly as possible and prevent future recurrence of the incident. So there are many incident managements. You can they handle many things like vulnerability handling or artifact handling, announcements, alerts, and more important thing is incident handling. In that they do the triage, report and detection, incident response and analysis. So you have heard about the incident response team, right? So it is one of the team which comes in that. So the next one we will talk about security incident and event management. So the SOC team, why we need SIEM? SIEM performs real-time SOC, right? SOC, so what is the SOC? Security Operation Center functions like what we do through SIEM, identifying, monitoring, recording, auditing, and analyzing security incidents. So it provides security by tracing suspicious end users behavior activities within a real-time IT environment. And what are the SIM tools? There is might be QRadar, ArcSight, Splunk, and might be other ones. So what is the function of SIM? We have log collection, log analysis, event correlation, log forensics, IT compliances, real-time alerting. You can say there is a dashboard in Splunk which will tell you that how many alerts are triggering and what are the new alerts, what are the different types of malware are attacking on that particular organization. So through dashboard, we can get to know these things and the log retention we can also say. So this is what SIM and SIM. For that, SIM is very huge concept, and we will talk about that because these are the basics. You should know that what exactly the SIM is. And the next one is data loss prevention, which is also known as DLP. So what is data loss prevention? So data loss prevention refers to the identification and monitoring of sensitive data to ensure that end users do not send sensitive information outside the corporate network. So DLP, basically, let's say you are working on an organization and you are on a notice period, right? So they will monitor you that what you are doing, whether you are sending any data from outside from the organization or not. So that is the role of DLP, and it is very important. It should be in every company. DLP monitoring is must. Next one is penetration testing, guys. Many of you have interest in that penetration testing, as we were talking about that, right? So why penetration testing and what exactly the penetration testing? So it is also known as a pen test, or you can say PT team, and it is a simulated cyber attack against your computer system to check for exploitable vulnerabilities. So basically, what penetration testing guys the team do, they check whole environment and they execute each and everything through that vulnerability, and they exploit everything so that they get to know that yeah, it is whether that vulnerability is exploitable or not in your environment. This is what penetration testing testers do. Now, what are the types of PT? That might be black box, white box, and gray box. So in the black box, the person will having no knowledge. But in white box, let's say you are an internal PT team master, so you will having a complete knowledge. In gray box, you can say as a consultant, because they will having some limited knowledge. And as an organization, let's say you are an organization and you want some PT testing, you can say penetration testing on your organization. So you will just uh, contact to a third party, and you will give only a particular knowledge regarding those websites or something your environment, so that they can do a PT. Now the next one is information security laws and standards. This is very important one, guys, because you should aware about, because there is a compliance team, they are aware about these things. So the first one is, okay, my bad. First one is PCI DSS, that is Payment Card Industry Security Standard Councils. So the Payment Card Industry Council, that is PCI DSS, is a proprietary information security standards for organization that handle card holders, which is the card holders you already know about, that is credit card or something else, debit card, credit card, prepaid, e-POS, ATM, and POS. So there is a particular set of laws and standards for that. And also there is ISO 27001, which specifies the requirements of establishing, implementing, maintaining, and continually improving an information security management system within the context of organizations. So that is what ISO. HIPAA works on the health insurance there, so there is some security laws and standards for health insurance as well. Sarbanes-Oxley Act, SOX. So these are the four security laws and standards. And every country have something different. Let's say Indian Penal Code, right? So IPC we have in our country. In United States, we have different types of things like Section 107 of Copyright, Privacy Act of 1974, Protect America Act of 2007. So they have these things. Correct. So in India we have Information Technology Act, the Patents Act 1999. So these are the things what we have. Now, so the it's finished, guys, and now we will talk about the summary. So what are the summary we have covered in this? So the first one, complexity of security requirements is increasing day by day, right? So we need ethical hacking. Why we need ethical hacking? This is why we need hackers or cracker is one who access a computer system by evading its security system. That's why we need ethical hacking. We need to secure the organization. Ethical hackers involve the use of hacking tools, tricks, and techniques to identify vulnerabilities. So we are the ethical hackers who get to know all these things, that yeah, there is some vulnerabilities and we need to secure them, and we help organization to better understand the understand the security system, security process. So that's why what we have learned is, whether it's a PT team, whether it's a VA team, whether it's a normal SOC team. So all work is that to just providing the security of that organization. Ethical hacking is crucial components of risk assessment, auditing, counter fraud, best practices, and good governance. That's what we discussed. So that's it, guys, and I hope you like the videos, and the next video will come soon. Please follow us on this one: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, or even the Telegram. Okay, so the Telegram is very important because we are going to share the PPTs here on the Telegram channel. So just join the Cybersec live on Telegram channel. And guys, please motivate us by subscribing and liking the video. Bye bye. Take care.